And this is Fox 10 Talks. We have some new video of that fiery crash in Mesa from earlier this week. Traffic was slowing down on the Superstition Freeway at about Val Vista, the US 60, out in the East Valley. And I'm going to show you that video right here. This is the moment of impact. You can see the cement truck driver starts to brake, but everybody else had already been braking. And for whatever reason, that driver is too slow on the brakes, and you can see the aftermath right there. So it's still not clear. The investigation is going to take quite a while. But by the way, the dash cam video that we see from Charmaine Fernando just shows what was going on in the seconds after it happened. And this is Officer Brian Larison. Now, he is with Chandler. He's a motorcycle officer, and he gets up to that situation ASAP, calmly walks around to see what's going on, and then very quickly pulls out his baton. You know, these things are literally created. He's telling these drivers to kind of move around. But he gets up with the baton and manages. Take a look, by the way, there's some good Samaritans there. I think that's so fascinating. They were not able to break the window. There's a lady trapped inside. You know the story. The reason we wanted to share it with you today, primarily, is just because we have this new video from the perspective of a driver who was right behind that cement truck. And then the life-saving effort begins. You know, the quote from the officer was, "I'm not going to let her burn up." He hit it 3 times. He said it seemed like it took forever. And then he said, "I knew as soon as the window broke, the oxygen was going to get in there and that vehicle was going to be engulfed." Talk about being in the right place at the right time. But let me roll this video for you. I think I can one more time. By the way, there she is down on the ground, and the officer was fighting back tears when he said, "She just clung to me on the side of the road, and I just held her. I just told her I had her." But there it is one more time. It is just not clear at this point when all the traffic, you know, when you're driving in a truck like that, I do think you have an extra responsibility because just the weight of that truck overall can take what would normally be a fender bender and put it into a situation where it can be life-altering for people. Syleste, I'm just telling the audience a little bit and showing them the newest video that we have of the moment of impact.
Oh, yeah. It was absolutely wild, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine being the driver there with that dash cam?
Yes. You know, and one of the things that is not clear to me is when you're in a truck like that, cement, as heavy as that truck is, you're also sitting up high in the cab. You should be able to see this slowdown happening way before other cars that are at what you would consider more of an at-grade level. And this, of course, then is the aftermath. You can imagine the shock that people are dealing with as they kind of work their way around that, around the crash. But, you know, she was taken to the hospital. Looks like she's going to make a full recovery. But I just think, Syleste, if Officer Larison hadn't been there, and then what about the firefighter, too,
Yeah.
Asa Pagia, who works for Peoria Fire? He was on his way to a day's work, but he just happened to have his firefighting gear right on hand. Those 2 people basically both had to be there at the right time, at the right place to save her life.
Well, so we spoke with Asa yesterday morning, and what he said was he was about a mile back on the US 60, and he was driving. He lives in Gilbert, works in Peoria, and so he was heading to work, and he saw the flames. Imagine that, Ron. You're about a mile back. You can see the flames. You can see the smoke because it was a big fire.
Sure.
And so he cruises up, he drives up there, and he had, he's in his personal car, and he had all of his gear in the trunk. So he pops open the trunk, puts on his gear real quick, and that's, I believe, 35, 40 pounds of gear.
Sure.
It's not easy. Like, you know, usually in fire stations, they have it all set out and prepped. He throws that on really quick. He said it had been some time. You can see some of the witnesses. There were already people trying to break open that window.
Shows you how hard it is. They're
Yes.
jamming it with their elbow. They can't
Right.
break it open.
No.
It's not easy.
So he said, fortunately, I think the police officer who was there was already trying, you know, to break open that window, finally was able to, and he pulled that woman to safety And I
And
mean, what an ordeal.
and the thing about him yesterday when you had him on
Yeah,
Fox 10
yeah.
Celeste, how humble he was.
I
All in a
know.
day's work, you know. He's out there saving a life on his way into work.
Yeah, he
And
has.
probably saved a few more lives since then.
I think so.
Yeah.
I said, "What were you thinking when you saw the video?" You know, when you're in the heat of the moment, they are trained to do things like this. But when you look back at the video later on, he said, "Oh, I had no idea the flames are that high."
Yeah.
I said, "Do you have kids?" He said, "Yeah, me and my wife have 4 kids." I said, "What did they say?" He's like, "Oh, they're just so proud, but it's just what I do." And I
That's
was
so
like, "That's so
great.
sweet. Thank
Yeah,
you."
right. And he's going to be able to tell that story for the rest of his life, as well as Officer Larison. So, Celeste, we have something happening live right now. I think we're going to go to it.
Mhm.
There's just been a political bombshell. Mitch McConnell is leaving the United States Senate at the end of his term. Which will be next year. He's not going to run for re-election. I was told to stand by that he was going to make some comments on the floor of the Senate,
Yes.
and I believe we have that right here. Let's take a listen to Mitch McConnell after that announcement.
Regardless of the political storms that may wash over this chamber during the time I have remaining, I assure our colleagues that I will depart with great hope for the endurance of the Senate as an institution. There are any number of reasons for pessimism, but the strength of the Senate is not one of them. This chamber is still the haven where the political minority can require debate. It's still the crucible in which jurists are tested for their fidelity to upholding the Constitution and laws as they were written. The Senate is still equipped for work of great consequence. And to the disappointment of my critics, I'm still here.
Well,
Wow.
he does have that Kentucky sense of humor.
Yes.
To the regret of my critics, I'm still here. His health struggles maybe made this not a huge surprise. When you run for the Senate, Celeste, you're talking about a 6-year time commitment. He's already 83. He's struggling. He's in a wheelchair now.
Yeah.
He had those moments where he almost looked like he was passing out last year, where he just
did.
sort of froze. So I guess we should have seen this coming. He's been really no friend of Donald Trump over the course of the last year of the campaign, and even now that the president is back in the Oval Office.
I mean, can we just say, maybe it's really time for him to just spend time with his family.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one thing I think that you think about when you go through some health struggles. When you have a family, a spouse or a family member, you think, it makes life so much sweeter when you have those special moments together. And maybe he's
Correct.
thinking after all of the health situations he's dealt with over the last several years, he's thinking, or maybe his wife put down her foot and she said, "Okay, where you got to come home."
It's fun. Maybe she did. But when grandkids enter the picture, you don't know
Yes.
this yet.
Thank goodness, Ron. Don't speak it just yet.
But you will know it soon enough. It changes everything. I just remember, Celeste, chatting with somebody. We're big on social media, you and me both.
Yes, we are.
On Instagram and on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I just remember years ago, before our first grandson, who's 10 now, Mason, was born, and she said, "You will be surprised to find out how much more room you had in your heart for love
Oh.
than you ever thought you did." Because you're like,
So
I'm
great.
fine, right? I got a wife I love, I've got kids I love, I got my mom, my dad, etc. But boy, when those grandkids come along. So anyway, maybe that's a big part of it. Who knows?
Yeah, well, and I think it opens up a spot for some young up and coming politician who's willing to put their name out there and let people, dig into those skeleton closets and dig out all kinds of stuff. The politics is not an easy thing to endure.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, speaking of Kentucky, we better make sure all the gold is actually at Fort Knox.
That's right.
Did you hear about that?
Yes.
The president on Air Force One last night said, "We're going to check up on this. Supposed to be a lot of gold there." He says, "We're going to go to Fort Knox to make sure the gold is there." And the whole idea of just checking into it, it all began, I think, with a post from Elon Musk. There have been some conspiracy theories that not all the gold that's supposed to be there is actually there. So the Treasury Department says the exact amount, they put it right on their website, by the way, so whoever's running the Treasury Department needs to know about this. And the new man in charge there, a guy named Scott Bessent, said, he said, look, we do an audit every year, and all the gold is present and accounted for. And there was an interview where Steve Mnuchin, the former Treasury Secretary, said, the last time I went there, the gold was there when I visited it. He went to go visit the gold, just to stare at it.
Did he speak to it too?
Yeah. He said, I hope nobody's moved it. I'm sure they haven't.
Oh, my goodness.
That was talking to CNBC.
So I just pulled up online like an image of Fort Knox.
Okay.
So is it in that building at Fort Knox? Is it in the underground? I'm guessing there may be tunnels.
Celeste, I know the answer to that question, but I can't reveal it here on the stream, or I'd be hustled out of here by Secret Service.
The FBI is at the door, Ron.
Yeah. I actually don't know if it's that building or is it buried in some underground chambers. I sort of hope it is.
Well, because, it makes you think. It just adds to the suspense and the mystery of, like, are there gold bars in there? Is it like a huge gold bar? Or?
The other thing, Celeste, that is really getting a lot of talk is whether or not there's going to be a DOGE dividend check. And let's go right to our poll question this morning, because it all started with somebody had posted on X asking Elon Musk, hey, well, if all this money to the billions is being saved, what about sending some of it to the taxpayers? President Trump got wind of it and said, I like that idea a lot. And so there has been some talk, maybe you split it as a kind of a 50-50 or 25-75. Here's the poll question. We would love to get your reaction. In fact, coming out of the break, Celeste, look at that. We got 18 people commenting on it right now. We'll let you kind of listen into what some folks are saying. But right now, 48% say return every penny to the taxpayers. 16% say no, let's pay down the debt.
All right, we'll read your comments in a brief moment. Let's go ahead and show the mystery cam. Yes, Ron?
Yes. Oh, look at this. Another snowy state, everybody. Give us your guesses. Back in 2 minutes. And we welcome you back, everybody. Here, we appreciate you watching Fox 10 Talks. We're the streaming show that continues the news and conversation, starting right at 10 a.m. Syleste, we've had guesses, everything from Pennsylvania to Michigan, Illinois to Wisconsin. Where do you think you want to go? Where is this snowy scene?
I am going to go, I'll go with Wisconsin. I'm going to go Wisconsin with that icy waterway. Angela Brockelman in the chat box, she said Wisconsin, and she seems like a pleasant human.
Yes, correct.
She's one of our amazing folks in our chat box.
By the way, I'm going to guess Minnesota.
Okay.
Because it's somewhere up there. It's Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, something like that. Here we go, Syleste.
And Tyler Lewis says Michigan with Linda Jen and KDJW.
Okay, here comes
whoever guessed Iowa.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
Guessed the correct. Louis Gonzalez said Iowa.
Okay.
And someone else, Sherry Nevada Pop, she said, I was in Iowa yesterday, so I will agree
Who said
with
that?
Sherry Nevada Pop.
She was in Iowa yesterday?
I guess so. Don't you live in Kingman?
Yeah, she's up in that area.
Yeah.
I just visualized she goes over to Nevada every day. I didn't think she went all the way to Iowa.
Well, maybe the
Sherry.
eggs are cheaper there, Ron.
You know,
Who knows?
maybe it's a situation where, she takes a look at it and says, I have to win more frequently on the mystery cam. I'm going to travel the country.
Every day to a different state.
Yeah.
Let's read a couple of the comments. Yes, Ron, from our poll question. Do you want to show that real quick?
Okay, just a reminder. What do you think? Dividend checks or pay down that debt or split it, or 10% say, I am just opposed to all this whole DOGE business. It needs to stop. So what are you seeing, Syleste?
John Williams, X81, says when you put cash in someone's pocket, they spend it, which stimulates the economy. Okay. So that's good news. Then we have a little bit farther down, Mario Hernandez says, give us the tax credit to at least be able to buy eggs.
You know what we should have is a number one comment of the day.
Oh, we can pin it. I wonder if we can pin it to the top.
Yes. That's pretty good.
It is.
I'll take that check. I got to go buy eggs. I just put in an order today. Now, Syleste, when you go, do you ever order groceries and go through the pickup line? Do you ever do that?
All the time.
Do you? Okay.
All the time.
So I put in an order today, and it said the eggs were there. But we work here till like noon or 1, in that time frame. And by the time I get out to the store, what are the odds they're all going to be sold out?
Oh, no.
Well,
did they get rid of your eggs? Did you not have eggs?
Well, I'm saying it's a mystery. I'm about to find out at like 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Maybe they're like, that guy's coming too late. I'm going to grab his eggs.
Sure. Oh, they were flying off the shelves today. Who knew? Yeah, we've got some great comments. So we appreciate your votes. We love when our poll questions get a lot of action, and so that's really just great. Anything else that you saw there, Syleste?
We've got a lot of chatters.
Yeah, we do.
We love chatty Cathys around here.
Not only that, we have a lot of people watching live. I'll just mention, for those of you who are regulars on Fox 10 Talks,
yes,
we frequently go, the second we go on the air, we got 30, 40, 50, 60 people, literally from around the country and around the world.
Right.
But then every once in a while, it really kind of, catches on, and we've got 113 people watching our stream right now. So if you're brand new, thank you, and come say hi to everybody else in the chat box, because it is a fun group of people.
So we do have a newcomer, Tassi Moisi.
Yes.
Tassi Moisi. She says, this is my first time in Fox 10 Talks. Let us know where you're watching from this morning. We'd love to hear from you.
And how about Tina? She says, I'm new here too. Welcome aboard, Tina. So great. Okay, so here, as we kind of move on to our next topic, Syleste, you'll be excited to know the finalists are out for this year's Snowplow contest.
Oh, I kept me up at night. I'm so glad you mentioned that.
I know. Okay, so, here's what it looks like. I'm just going to pull up some of the names that our graphics department put together. To me, I love every one of these. There are 15 total, by the way. But you can vote on any of them. These are, I think, for us, some of our faves. Scoop Dog.
Oh, I like that one, Scoop Dog.
Okay, give me a 1 through 10 for each one of these.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, Scoop Dog.
A 10. Is 10 the best? 10's
okay,
the best.
10's the best. Blizzard of Oz.
Oh, that's an 8.
Okay. Sled Zeppelin.
That's also a 10.
It is a 10. I
Yes.
love Led Zeppelin. Okay, Snowbaka.
That's cute. It's a
Yes,
6.
It's about a 5 for me. Sorry. Scooby-Doo.
Oh, that's cute. I'm going to go 9.
I like that too. Okay, I'll give it a 9. And I love Control Salt Delete.
That's a great. Oh, I want to go 10. But then that would give you our final 3. Okay, I'll
There
go
you
10. That's 10.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to do that too. By the way, you can go to fox10phoenix.com, and we have set up a link there so that you can vote on that. For those of you who are watching outside Arizona, we do this every year. The folks at ADOT, the Arizona Department of Transportation, they have a lot of fun.
Yes.
Sure, they're very serious highway people, I've noticed. Have you
Yes.
noticed that too, Celeste?
I have. And when
Yeah.
you talk to, I believe we were at like a conference or had somebody in studio. This is a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And it's when ADOT actually here in Arizona, the Arizona Department of Transportation, they are known around the country as a very creative bunch.
Yes.
So other states have actually taken what they do here with some of the snowplows and naming and some of the cute like traffic sign,
Sure,
you
the
know,
funny
signage.
slogans.
Yeah, they've taken that and they've replicated it in their own states.
Remember when the feds a couple of years ago cracked down? They're like, no more funny sayings
Oh,
on the.
brother.
Well, they're still doing it.
They are.
Good for them at ADOT.
That's how we do it out west, Ron.
Yes. Celeste, are you worried about the asteroid that just might be out there hurtling toward Earth? These are the images from NASA, by the way. We've been talking about it really about 2 weeks ago when they doubled the odds that it's going to smash right into us from 1% to 2%. Well, they've upped the odds again now to 3.1%, which again, is small. But something's happening out there in space because almost on a weekly basis, they're upping the odds.
So how are they measuring it? They have a satellite up there, then that's like, measuring how far it is from space and probably,
Right. Yeah. Well, I do not know the answer to that
Because
question.
it's like,
Celeste.
do we have something on the asteroid that is telling us how fast it's
Right.
traveling?
As far as I know, there's a slide rule involved, and an abacus.
Is there a protractor?
Neither of us are smart enough to know anything.
My kids are like, Mom, I need a protractor for school. I'm like, can you tell me what that is again?
Yeah,
Thank you,
protractor.
Google.
Right. Okay, so the year of impact, if it does happen, I mean, you have 7 years to get your affairs in order. 2032 is
brother.
when it's going to happen. You don't have to sell the house just yet.
No, you need a place to live for 7 years.
Sure you do. Maybe turn it into a rental so you can.
And what's the chance it'll actually hit the planet? What if it just like skims like a
Yes.
portion of like, I don't know, the Atlantic Ocean?
Oh, man, like skipping rocks?
Yeah.
How about if it splashed off the Atlantic and then went on and hit like Mars or
Oh,
something?
how sad.
Nobody else is
I
thinking
thought we were
these deep
building. I
thoughts.
thought we were building a community on Mars, Ron.
Boy. Hey, Celeste, are you ready for some hockey? Guess what
Always.
tonight is?
The-
The USA versus Canada on the ice.
Are you kidding me?
No. So remember the other day up in Canada when they were booing our national anthem?
That's what happens, Ron, when you boo the national anthem.
Yes, I know. Well, the coach, it turned out, and, of course, everybody wanted to know the coach and the other guys on the team. Most of them were kind of diplomatic about the whole thing, don't want to create an international incident, Celeste,
Yes.
except for one guy who just happens to be the Arizonan on the team.
Oh, I love this.
Matthew Tkachuk.
Yes.
As soon as I say the name Tkachuk, you think Keith Tkachuk,
Right,
right?
right. Who's this? His
Keith
son?
is his dad.
Oh, his
This
dad.
is his son,
Oh, how
who's now a
great.
chip off the old block. And he did not mince words. He said it bugged the heck out of him.
Oh.
And so, yeah, born right here in the Valley. His quote was, "I didn't like it." And by the way, do you know what he did?
Who?
I know we showed
What
a
did he
few
do?
highlights on the air. He got in a fight with one of the Canadian players 3 seconds after the puck dropped.
Well, Ron, you know why.
Well, yeah.
I mean, come on.
Defend the USA.
Yeah,
It's
and
like
then
I didn't like it at all.
and then they won the game.
Yeah, they did. They beat Finland 6-1. But I'm sorry, Finland. This is a warm-up for the showdown with Canada, which, by the way, is at 6
Finland.
o'clock tonight, and this one's in the USA.
Yes. And by the way, Finnish people, we love you too.
Yes,
You're
we
very
do.
nice. Finnish people are very nice, Ron.
Oh, is your husband a Finn?
My stepfather's a
Oh, your
Finn,
stepfather,
but my
okay.
husband's Norwegian. He's
Oh, okay.
Scandinavian. They're
Yeah.
nice people too.
Right. Right. We don't want to set
They
anything
eat lots
off
of fish.
between Finland and Norway. But anyway, I did like what the coach said. He said, look, these guys are hockey players. They're here to play hockey, but they're also proud Americans.
They are patriots. So, here in the media, we interview all kinds of different athletes.
Yeah.
In different sports. And so the one thing that I've learned, I've interviewed football, NFL players, MLB players, everything. Anytime I either speak or meet a gentleman who's played hockey,
Yeah.
they just seem like the most humble, the most down to earth.
Yeah.
When you look at them as like a total group,
Right.
they're just kind of nice guys.
Yes, right.
Maybe it's because they get beat up.
Maybe. And then they get
I'm
on the
just
ice,
thinking- I'm
and
just
I mean, the
thinking this.
gloves are coming off.
Right? They know they're just grateful for another day.
Yeah. Well.
Nobody's doing that to you usually on the mound or the pitching mound.
Hey, speaking of sports, which I need to use that phrase more often here on the stream. Speaking of sports.
Preach.
Today is the first game of the year for spring training. It's the Cubs versus the Dodgers.
Yes.
At the Dodgers field. But Celeste, I'm still a little concerned about the fact that now they don't have a name anymore for the Footprint Center.
Yes.
So I happened to do some research. Just going to share it with you here.
Continue on, my friend.
These are Arizona-based companies. So you could have the Banner Health Forum.
Mm-hmm.
No?
Oh,
Okay.
no, that did
All right.
not, no.
How about the PetSmart Arena?
That would be okay.
How about the Sprouts Center?
Oh, Sprout Center has a
Yeah,
good. It reminds me of like Staples Center when that was in LA.
I like that. Okay,
Yeah.
Sprout Center. How about the Circle K Center featuring 79-cent sodas?
Oh, that's good.
I mean, you put that extra part in there, and then you're going to sell some extra sodas.
That sounds like a lot of letters on the building, though.
Yeah, I have a list that is actually really quite long here. Let's see. How about this? The Discount Tire Dome.
Oh.
Not
I
as
don't
much.
know. No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
The U-Haul Arena.
U-Haul Arena.
Yeah.
Okay. No.
No.
I think Sprout Center right now is speaking to me.
How about the Massage Envy Relaxation Dome? Huh?
And you have a bunch of massage
Sure.
chairs.
Can I interest you in a massage? If people get there early and you're stressed out because you got to play the LA Lakers or something,
Yeah.
why not let Massage
Or
Envy?
maybe in the VIP room, you have the Massage Envy chairs.
Oh, I have so many options here. How about Basha's Donuts and Basketball?
Okay. Maybe the basket is the top of the hoop. It's the donut.
We will see what happens. But for now, Celeste, guess what?
We got to run.
We got to say our goodbyes.
Oh, we had a quick question, too. Ron, you'll have to